We're here at Winter NAMM 2016 on the Waldorf booth with Rolf, who's going to tell us about 3 new Eurorack modules and a keyboard controller that they sit in. So, Rolf, can you give us a quick rundown of what's available?
Yes. So, we introduced last year the NW1 wavetable module. And this was quite a success. So we thought, okay, let's make a complete system. So we first thought, let's make a real keyboard. So that's a keyboard rack, a case with a Fatah keyboard with aftertouch, with a CV converter, USB interface. There's an Arpeggiator in it. There are also some CV inputs, so you can get some DIY stuff working with this. So it's very flexible. And then we thought, okay, we have just the wavetable oscillator, let's make more modules to have a complete synth. So we did a modulation module. And then what do you need? You need a VCA, so we did a VCA. And then we had a couple of other ideas, and the first idea of that is the compressor, because there aren't so many compressor on the market, but we have many more ideas for filters and other modules as well.
Right, okay, so and how many modules can you fit into this then?
This has 107 rack space. So depending on the size of the modules, you can have like 4 in our case, but these are very big modules because they are multifunctional. But you can also get in many small modules, something like 10 or 12. We have enough connector on the board that you can connect, and we have enough power supply with 1.5 ampere that you can feed 7, 8, 9 modules. Not a problem.
Fantastic. So can you tell us a little bit about what's going on inside each of the modules? Is it analog, is it digital, or what's...
Right.
So
the existing wavetable module, NW1, is of course digital.
Yeah.
The other ones are pure analog. Okay. So we thought, okay, what can you do new with modulators? What can you do new with VCAs? Because many things have been already done. So the idea of the modulator module is to have 3 really different modulation sources in it, which has quite diverse characteristics. So we have a multi-stage ADDSR, where you can have up to 3 decay stages. You can loop them. And we have what we call a symmetry generator, which could be used as an LFO, but also used as one-shot envelopes. And we have another envelope where you can control the curve shape. So we have really different stuff to serve all your modulation needs. Then we have the dual VCA, which include a little 12 dB state variable low-pass filter, which you can dial in much like a low-pass gate, but not Vactrol-based, but state variable-based, which gives a really nice sound. It has true gain. It's not a voltage-controlled attenuator, it's an amplifier. You can dial in up to 10 dB extra gain. And it has nice link modes where you can link both together in parallel or in anti-parallel for stuff like auto-panning effects and things like this.
Right, okay.
And the compressor is an analog compressor, which you can decompose in a way that everything is CV controllable. You can use the detection part only as an envelope follower. You can use just the VCA or the overall compression system.
So what style of compression is it?
This is a classical VCA style compression you find based on the same analog circuitry you find in big consoles.
Okay.
So that's really high end, but we packaged that in a way which is really useful in a modular system.
Great, so let's have a listen then.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so let's try the keyboard a little bit and hear some sounds. So here's a classical bass wavetable. We can switch on the Arpeggiator. Control it. This is now wheel control. We can do it, of course, with aftertouch, just by repatching it. So let's get the cool sensor. I like that very much. I have just to program it. Get it a little bit down. So this is the sensor, and maybe let's demonstrate a little bit the filter, which is inside the VCA. So I'm just turning out the filter. Let's get off the Arpeggiator. There's nothing special here, so this is VCA in the just listen to the release day, now dialing in the filter. You get that wing, you know, and this is a parameter, this is a knob you can control also with CV. And the funny thing is I now linked this on two output, wait, that's the wrong one, on two output channels, and I slightly detune the color. You can get nice stereo effects, or with the anti-parallel, you have some panning effects. So that's the idea of the filter. And maybe at the end have a quick look at the compressor. So I'm feeding this with a drum loop because you would use this more in a kind of a percussive patch situation in a big rack. So give me a second. So I have other options like this is now manual attack release. Dialing in the compression. I can add for English compression the original signal or remove it. I have an overall markup gain here. This is automatic mode compression. Going back to manual, where I can get the attack different. This is hardney, and I can get to softney. So that's just a quick demonstration. Of course, you can spend many more hours to patch everything together. But we think even with this just 3-4 modules, you have quite a bit of flexibility, or you mix and match with other modules of other vendors.
Rolf, how much is it going to cost then, and when are they going to be available, these 4 new pieces?
Pricing is not public now, but it will have a reasonable pricing. So the idea is, with a keyboard, if you would buy the components like a rack, like a power supply, like a MIDI-CV interface, like an Arpeggiator, and like a nice Fatah-based keyboard, and if you add this together, you will have a similar price like with the keyboard, and the keyboard is a much compact version. It's very sturdy, you can put it on stage. So it has a really reasonable price, and the modules itself will be the analog modules in a typical mid-range module pricing.
And available when?
First half of this year.
Okay, great.
And maybe that's important just to add, you can of course buy just the keyboard without the modules.
Sure, so you can just fill it with any Eurorack.
Yes, any Eurorack if you like, no problem.
Brilliant, thanks very much.
Okay, thank you,
Cheers.
Pleasure.